Hi, in this video we're going to cover the PromoPlanner 4 home screen. Now if you've been following this series, the Using PromoPlanner 4 series of videos in sequence, then you'll already know the three different ways of launching a PromoPlanner database. Now I'm going to use one of those right now for this demonstration, and I'm going to use the icon I have right here in the middle of my screen. So here we go. I'm going to launch in PromoPlanner. Now I want to make sure for this demonstration that we are not in the window, that we're using the full screen mode. So I'm going to make sure that my windowed button there is turned off, and I'm going to start planning. So here we go. The PromoPlanner is initiating, and it will take us here, which is the home screen. So this is where we're going to focus our attention for this video. So to start with, let's concentrate on the very bottom of the screen, all the way down here. And then this bottom left-hand corner, there's two pieces of information. We have the name of the project name that we've given for this model, which is demo data in this case. And we have the name and the location of the database file itself, which is on the very bottom row. And for this example, I'm on my J drive, I have a PromoPlanner database directory, and the model is called PromoPlanner 4 Demo Model with Data. So there we are. This is the name and the location of the PromoPlanner database that is in use currently. Now, the PromoPlanner will always default to the last database you opened. So it's a good idea to check on that and make sure it's the one that you're expecting to see. So that's on the left hand side. On the right hand side we have a little bit of information. This is mostly the license information. So it's telling me that this version of the PromoPlanner is licensed to MDEX. Well, that's me, so that makes sense. I have an expiry date which is in a very long time, the end of 2099. It's unlikely yours will be quite so long, but there you are. That's the license expiry date that I have. And it tells you the build, or the version number if you like, of the PromoPlanner 4 I'm using. This is build number 174, which is the latest version at the moment. And it'll probably be a later number when you're using the tool. So here we are. That's the base information at the bottom of the screen. So let's turn our attention now to the top of the screen, and we have four icons. Here they are at the top, but let's start with the little car. Now this is the license option, and by clicking that it gives me my license status, and as you can see I have a current license. I am MDEX, so this license is for MDEX. It's valid until the end of 2099, and should I be required to enter any new license number if I need to update my license, or my first license perhaps, this is where I go, and this is where I would type it in. And right at the bottom is reminding me of my version number or my build number. So if you need to know anything about your license, you'll see it in the bottom right hand corner, as you saw a little while ago, but you can also come here, and you will definitely need to come here if you need to change anything regarding your license status. So I can click the little X up here and leave. I get back to the home screen, and I can look at the other three icons. So we have three here. This is a little safe, and the safe is currently closed. You can see the door is shut. It's shut because I have nothing to save. I've not changed anything. Everything that can be altered has already been saved, so the safe is shut. If there was anything that I had altered and had not saved, then the little safe door would be open, and it will be reminding me that there's unsaved data. And if I want to save it, I can simply click the button and follow the options and save it. So that's the save button. The next button here is a files button. As you can see, there's lots of files sitting on the table. Here is the files button. What does that do? Well, if I click it, we have a kind of phone, mobile phone if you like, dialog box, and in here this is the way in which I can move to a different database, move to a different directory, and search within my local operating system directory structure if you like, or your network, for any PromoPlanner database files you might need to load. So here we are. I can create new files, I can load different files, I can copy and save, and I can even do a backup. So here are my options, and well, I've nothing to do. I'm going to stay where I am, so nothing to change. If I have nothing to change, then I can just click anywhere outside the dialog box and it will disappear. So that's the Files button. That's where I load, save and find all the different databases I might want to work with. And lastly, we have a little door, and this is the exit door. So by clicking this, I will leave. If I try to leave with any unsaved data, then it will remind me of that. It won't just leave it and close down the Perimeter Planner and lose all the data. It will remind me that I have unsaved data and give me the choice as to whether I want to save it or to discard it. So we'll see those things as we go along in the other videos. So that takes us to the principal 4 options on this home screen. And here they are. Number 1, prepare data. Number 2, strategic view. Number 3, the planning board. And number 4, share insights. So what we're going to do now is take them in turn and give you a little introduction as to what's behind them so that you have some idea of where to find things within the Perimeter Planner tool. So let's start at the beginning and let's start with prepare data. So I'm going to click that. Now, as you might expect with something that says prepare data, this is where all of the structure of the database, your products, your customers, your Salesforce teams, etc., are added into the database so it's relevant to your situation. There's also a set of basic settings that need to be set up, which is exactly what we're seeing now. There's a set of options that we have which control some of the big levers and options, if you like, within the Perimeter Planner tool. And it's also the place where we can review and see all of the data that is in the tool. So let's just have a quick look at that. You'll see at the top we have a data button, and this will always be the data button whilst we are in the prepare data option. So if I click that, you'll see I have a set of menus and sub-menus. So let's start with the white menu first. So these are the main headings, and this is where we can automatically import and load our templates, where we can set up the database manually. I'll show you that a little bit later on in some other videos. We can review the strategic data. We can review the customer landscape data, the operational data, and our tactical data. And by reviewing the data here, we also get the opportunity to change it manually if we want to. So let's have a quick look at some of these things. If I click the project setup button, there we go. I can look at setting up my products. Here is my product setup screen. Here are my products. I can scan up and down. And I can, with the plus button at the bottom here, I could add more products if I need it. If I click with the opposite mouse button to the one I normally use, in my case it's going to be the right hand mouse button, I get some options. If I click on one of these rows, so I can move them up and down, I can delete them, I can empty them, I can do various bits and pieces. So this allows me here to set up my products. It is also the place where I can set up the avatars for the products. So for example, I have a Paynex drug here. If I click on the avatar option over here, I can look through my drugs that I have avatars for, and I can assign an avatar to it. And I'm going to assign, it doesn't really matter, let me assign that one there to it. So this will make it a lot easier to identify the Paynex product in the reports and screens as we use the tool. Now you'll see there's an auto assign button. If I click that, then the tool will automatically assign an avatar to the product name based on that product name. So if we've created avatars and they match either exactly or closely to the product names that we have entered into our project, then the avatars will be set automatically if I click that button. So here we are. I have this option for setting up the products, and I can do that for my customers and my specialties and all those things. If I want to review data, well, I can do that here too. Here's the strategic data. I'm going to go into the sales forecast. As you can see, the data is here. Now there's no plus button here because when I'm reviewing the data, I can't change the structure. I can't add any, in this case, products to my list. I have to be in the project setup option to do that. But I can review all my data here. I can look at it. I can click on the cell and change the number if that's what I need to do. And with the sales forecast in particular, I have an option here, a graph option. So instead of viewing the data with the numbers itself, I can instead look at it in the form of a graph, which is a little bit more visual as to what's happening with the numbers. As you can see, that one's fairly flat. That one's rising very steeply in 2021. PayNext is rising significantly as time goes on. So that just gives us an option to view the data in a different way, although that graph option is not available on all of the input screens. So this is where we can review and change data manually if we need to, and we can do exactly the same for the operational data. Here's the historical data activity as an example, and we can do the same for our tactical promotional budgets when we need to do those things. So that is the prepare data. This is everything to do with setting the scope of the project and adding the data and changing the data. So let's go back to the home screen and have a look at the second option. So here it is, option 2. Now, strategic view option, this is where you'll see the icon here has changed. It doesn't say data anymore, it says view. If I click on this, I get a set, there's 5 here at the moment, of output reports, which are very quick recommendations, reports, calculations based on the data that we have loaded. And this is the very highest level data. So I have a carryover assessment, there it is. I can review promotional ROIs. I can see what the recommendation is for the field force size. And here we have a very slight reduction. As you can see, the dark blue is my current plan. The light blue is my recommendation. So this one is suggesting a small decrease in size right now. And I can do an allocation. We'll come back to the screen on in other videos. So I can allocate any field force size I choose to implement to the products that make up my portfolio. And lastly, I have a whole set of butterfly graphs that allow me to make comparisons across all the data that is in the tool. So that's a strategic view, and there will be other videos in this series to tell you a little bit more about what these do and how they can be used. So that's option number 2. Let's go back home to the home button. There we go. And we have the planning board. Now this is the principal area of the Promo Planner 4. This is what separates the Promo Planner from many other tools. It is a planning board, and it allows you to do all of your detailed planning, and that's where all of that will go. It's not doing the planning right now because I don't have my customer landscape data loaded, but should I have that loaded, all the planning will be done there, and there will be very many videos on how that works a little bit later on. Now the last option is option number 4, and this is the Share Insights button, and if I click that, I have here a complete reporting process, a reporting system, lots of different pre-built reports available. As you can see, the customer value report is not listed at the moment because there is no customer landscape data loaded into this database, but I can click and unclick the ones that I would like to see, and I can click the export button, and these reports will be created for me, but they will be created directly into a PowerPoint project file. So slide by slide, these reports will be produced in a PowerPoint deck for you, and there's no need for you to go through the process of creating your own reports. You can, of course, adapt them and change them once they're in PowerPoint. You'll get a default look and feel for all of these reports, and if you want to go into the PowerPoint and change the look and feel, then that's absolutely for you to do. But this is the reporting feature, if you like, and all of the insights, all of the calculations, all of the recommendations, and all the reporting from the Promo Planner is visualized through here, with the exception of the strategic view stuff. So that's it. They are the principal options of the home screen of the Promo Planner 4. Thank you very much.